Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are diving into something, well, truly ambitious. It's a framework that tries to build a bridge between the fundamental constants of physics and the incredibly complex world of human consciousness. Our whole journey today starts with a number. You might have seen it before. It's called alpha, the fine structure constant, and it's roughly 1 over 137. Now, in physics, this is a huge deal. It's basically the number that decides how matter and light talk to each other. You could even call it the glue holding our reality together. Yeah, you can think of it as the universe's Goldilocks number. It's this perfect ratio that allows for stable, productive connections. If it were any different, the universe as we know it probably wouldn't exist. It would either collapse or just fly apart. And this is where things get really interesting. This is the big, provocative question that this whole framework is built on. What if that very same cosmic principle of stable connection holds the key to optimizing our own inner worlds? What if we could use it to actually tune our consciousness? All right, let's get into it. The best way to really get a handle on this whole thing is through its core metaphor. Think of this as our anchor for the rest of this explainer, okay? First up, emergence is the dance. So, you know those aha moments or a real breakthrough insight? The framework says, don't think of that as a destination you arrive at. Think of it as a process you're in. It's this beautiful, spontaneous, unfolding dance. Okay, so if transformation is a dance, well, every dance needs music, right? And in this metaphor, the music is the quality and stability of your awareness. It's your inner coherence, kind of like the signal-to-noise ratio in your head. The clearer the music, the better the dance. And here's where it all clicks together. Alpha, that universal constant from the start, that's the tuning fork. It's the perfect, fundamental pitch we can use to tune the music of our own minds. Get the music right, and that dance of transformation can be absolutely incredible. So a metaphor is great, but how does this actually work? How do you turn this beautiful idea into something you can actually use? Well, the framework does this by proposing a few core laws. You can almost think of them as equations for transformation. The main idea here is something called the alpha window, and it's simple, really. It says that real lasting change, the kind that actually sticks, doesn't just happen randomly. It happens most effectively in a specific sweet spot, an optimal zone where your mind and body are basically tuned. And tuned to what? You guessed it. Tuned to that universal alpha ratio. Now, this is a really cool part. Let's talk about the liberation law. The way this framework defines liberation is probably not what you'd expect. It's not about adding something new or becoming a different person, no. It's a process of subtraction. It's about removing all the stuff, the constraints, the old baggage, the limiting beliefs that are blocking your natural, inherent capacity. And this quote just nails it. The farther you are from that perfect alpha tuning, the greater your constraints. So reducing that distance, that is liberation. Just think about that for a second. It's suggesting we can actually measure these constraints by seeing how out of tune we are. Healing, then, becomes the literal act of retuning yourself to this universal harmonic. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. This sounds fascinating, but measure it? How on earth do you measure the music of the mind? Well, the framework has a proposed answer for that. It's a system called dual harmonics. It's basically a two-part system. On one hand, you've got instantaneous harmony. Think of that like a snapshot. How coherent and stable are you right this second? But on the other hand, you have the recognition sum. That's more like the whole movie. It tracks all the insights you've gathered over time. So it's not just about where you are in the moment, it's about the whole journey. But here is the really, really clever part. The system gets that not all insights are created equal. You know that flash of brilliance you have when you're super stressed out? It probably vanishes, right? Compare that to a deep realization you have when you're calm and centered. That one sticks. So the framework actually gives more mathematical weight to the breakthroughs that happen when you're inside that stable, coherent alpha window. Okay, so we've got the metaphor, we've got the laws, we've got the measurements. Now let's see how this all comes together to become a super precise and practical tool, something that could actually guide a therapy session in real time. So by tracking these harmonics, a practitioner can start to see these very clear patterns emerge. For example, if the numbers are way too high, they call that overcoupling. That's when you might feel totally overwhelmed, flooded, maybe even lose your sense of self. But if the numbers are too low, that's undercoupling. Think feeling numb, disconnected, or stuck.
And this is what makes it so powerful in practice. A clinician can use a matrix just like this one to see what's happening in real time and respond. Take a look at that third row. Low harmony, but rising recognition. The framework calls that productive turbulence. It means insights are happening, but things are a bit chaotic. So what do? You don't push harder. You increase support. You make things safer. It's a totally responsive way of working.
Now, for a framework this grand, this ambitious, it's absolutely essential that we talk about the humility and the safety guardrails that are built right into it, because that's super important. The creators are so clear on this point. This is a metaphorical framework, not a literal one. They are not saying the number 137 is physically hiding in your brain somewhere. What they are saying is that the principle that alpha represents, that perfect ratio for stable connection, can be an incredibly useful target to aim for in our practices and our research. You know that old saying, the map is not the territory? Well, that's exactly what this is. The framework isn't claiming to be consciousness. It's offering us a new map, and hopefully a much better one, to help us navigate that wild, complex territory of the mind more safely and effectively. And that safety piece is paramount. This is not just abstract theory, it comes with real practical safety protocols. Things like always establishing a baseline before you start deep work, monitoring things in real time, and having clear plans for what to do if things get difficult. The whole point is to ensure this powerful tool is always used responsibly. And so we end right back where we started, with this just massive question. What if this is more than just a clever set of tools? What might it mean if the ideal patterns of our inner world actually resonate with the most fundamental patterns of the cosmos itself? It's a thought that connects the entire universe out there with the entire universe within you.